Hey guys, happy Thursday. How are we doing today? It's your girl, the Brooke Ashley, and today we are here to have a conversation slash rant about the Real Housewives of Miami. Now, before we get into it, I just want to let y'all know I don't want to disappoint you. I don't want to sell you guys dreams. This might be the last episode that I do of Miami. Honestly and truthfully, this episode really pissed me off. If I'm being really honest, I'm not feeling this season. I think that Bravo waited too long to bring them back. And I'm just really irritated by the nonsense that's going on. So if you don't see any more Miami recaps, just know that I'm just over it. I'm over the nonsense that these ladies are giving us. And when it comes to what happened in last night's episode between Guerdy and Julia, I'm Team Guerdy. Now, on another note, I'm not going to hold you. The drama between Larsa and Lisa, I'm not interested. I just don't care about, Lisa and Jody hanging out with Marcus. I mean, Larsa and Marcus had a very complicated relationship, on again, off again. So yeah, it's the same story on the Real Housewives franchise. I agree with that. But yeah, I don't have a whole lot for these ladies. The only thing that Miami gives us is glamour, luxury, and the fashions. But besides that, these storylines are tired, and the racism and the Karen behavior jumped out. Now, on to the main attraction. Julia, I want you to know that I never saw it for you. I'm tired. I was so tired of having to bite my tongue about you because I always saw through the facade. A lot of y'all said, oh, give Julia a chance. She's so quirky. She's so fun. She's different. A lot of y'all bought into that. Not me, girl. I'm just not here for it. If you go back and Google some of the things that her wife, Martina, has said about the Williams sisters, it all checks out with how they've both been treating Guerdy so poorly. Now, Julia, this needs to be your last season. You should have been fired after season 6, quiet as it's kept, because you're so freaking boring. But the fact that you sat up there and got in Guerdy's face like that multiple times, Guerdy was sitting down at one point, and at one point you stand up and you're just in her face, pointing your fingers, doing that. And then when you threw that drink on her, I said, absolutely not. And can we just get into the fact that nobody stood up for Guerdy? And it was very reminiscent of how Dr. Wendy was treated in season 7 when Mia infamously threw that drink at her and then hit her upside her head with that clutch. And they all sat there laughing at her. I was irate, and I was just so livid because how dare you? How dare you? And at no point did they come to her aid. Larsa giving that week, oh, Julia, we don't throw things at people. Okay, Larsa, we know that. But can you have some more bass in your voice? You have more bass in your voice, more smoke in your voice for Lisa over some nonsense about Marcus. But yet you can't even tell Julia that she was flat out wrong. This woman threw a drink on Guerdy. And I saw people saying online that Guerdy looked like she wanted to fight back. Maybe I'm off base, but I honestly believe that Guerdy looked like she was about to cry. Guerdy was, go back if you can stomach to go back and rewatch last night's episode when Julia threw that drink on Guerdy for no reason. Guerdy was in a state of shock. At one point, she was looking like this. She was looking like, I can't believe this just happened to me. Guerdy looked like she wanted to cry and just run out of there. I did not get that she wanted to fight. Now, I'm telling you right now, Julia, you have the right one, because I can tell you right now, had you thrown that drink on me after lying on me for several months to the group, but had you thrown that drink on me, I would have turned you every which way but loose. I was so irate. And what really gets me mad is the fact that had Guerdy retaliated, y'all would have blamed Guerdy. And, Kiki, I've been trying to really just let you cook, but I don't have too much for you, sis. The desperation to be full-time, you are up everybody's behinds. It's really nasty to watch. I don't feel like you had Guerdy's back in this moment either, because what you said in the confessional, when you were like, if somebody threw a drink on me, I would just leave. I wouldn't stay and say, state my piece. It's like Guerdy was damned if she did, damned if she didn't. Yes, Guerdy couldn't win for losing. Exactly. Yes, it's because she's Black. Let's call the spade. It's exactly what it is. Kiki is very fake. Kiki is so desperate for their approval. It's really nauseating to watch. And y'all, if you guys could have seen how upset I was by last night's episode, I was livid. And I just want to break a few things down. Let me know if I'm off base in the comments. And everybody who super chatted me just now, I promise I'm going to read your super chats. Just let me cook for like 5 minutes and then I will read your super chats. I got you, okay? If I'm being honest, and I said a little bit of this on Twitter, if you go back to season 4, when Dr. Nicole, Guerdy, and Julia joined Miami, if we're being honest, they were all the outcasts of the group. Full stop. When it comes to Guerdy, personally, I don't believe they ever saw it for her. And on Twitter, I said, again, my opinion, my theories, I'm not saying that I'm right. I'm just giving you my opinion. From where I'm sitting, they treat Guerdy the way the Beverly Hills ladies treat Sutton Strack. Am I off base to say that? Am I off base to say that? Let me know in the chat. I really feel like they have always treated Guerdy the way they treat Sutton on Beverly Hills. They never saw it for Guerdy. I clocked. Oh, they never did. Never. I wish Dr. Nicole was there. None of that would have happened. Oh, no, that's not true. It would have been worse. They hated Dr. Nicole. They were so envious of her. They were so jealous of her. They probably would have, Julia would have thrown a drink on both of them. If I'm being honest, it might have been worse had Dr. Nicole been there. But at least Guerdy would have had a friend. I think that, yes, Sutton is messy. Yes, she is. But hear me out. Let me cook. I got you. Good analogy. Yes, they treat her like the odd one out. They do. In my humble opinion, they don't view Guerdy as one of the cool girls. For them to bring up how she's too much, she's too extra, that's code for they think that she's annoying. Also, Guerdy has always been like that since day one, since she joined the show. But it's not lost on me that Guerdy is a working woman. She's established in her career. She's one of the top event planners in the world. She was in Vogue's top 100 event planners. She's up there with Mindy Weiss, another top tier event planner. She plans for the Kardashians, right? So Guerdy is very established, very accomplished, right? The women in this group don't respect that. And I believe that they are resentful of the fact that Guerdy and Dr. Nicole are self-made while they got their money through marriages. And you get what I'm saying? So hear me out. I remember, I think it was season 5 or season 6, Dr. Nicole and Guerdy were going to an event, and Guerdy made mention of, I think either Larsa or maybe Alexia throwing shade at her husband's profession. Because we know that I think Russell is a firefighter. I have always gotten that impression that they don't view Guerdy on the same level financially. And the fact that their husbands were athletes or famous men, plastic surgeons, they just don't view Guerdy in the same light. I feel like they look down on her. Guerdy has a nice coin. She has a beautiful home. She has a nice car, but I feel in their eyes, they feel like it's not impressive. And that's another part of why I feel like they don't treat her right. And it's not lost on me that she's always the odd one out, like you guys just said. And again, maybe I'm off base, but there's just something that tells me that they have always looked down on her. And the way they've always treated her since the beginning, it leads me to believe that they just don't view her as that girl. And they have always treated her as the stepchild. They don't view her like that. And I know that there's a bit more differences between her and Sutton Strack, but I just feel like overall, the way the group treats her as a whole, with the comments about, oh, she does too much, she's this, she's that, it's in the same light as how they view Sutton as annoying, right? Let me know. Yes, Russell's a very handsome man. Yes, the hate is real. Okay, you believe you, so you're with me on the theory. They do look down on her. Exactly. I have always felt like they look down on her, and I'll never forget what season that was. But one of them, Guerdy, pointed out how she was like, "I hope they weren't trying to shade my husband and what he does," and they glossed over that. But listen, y'all. The way these women act, the way Alexia runs the group, they all low-key kiss up to her, and then Larsa and Marysol, it would not surprise me. And remember how Kiki called out Larsa in the last reunion? She said, "Girl, you look down on me because I only have one Birkin." And then Larsa was up there trying to lie, saying, "No, I never said that. I never said that. I'm not like that." So again, if Larsa's judging folks over only having one Birkin, it is, y'all, go rewatch when Guerdy first came on the show. They have never seen it for her. When Guerdy was trying to plan Alexia's wedding, and Alexia got mad at her and tried to throw her under the bus and downplay her skills as an event planner, I said, "No, ma'am." And we can't forget that they're in Miami, and there's a lot of interesting race relations there in Miami as well. We could talk about my Miami girls. We could talk about that in the chat. Okay. So I don't think I'm off base to say that there's some classism, some racism, some colorism in this group with the white Cuban women and the Black, Haitian, dark-skinned women on this cast. Okay? Guerdy is the only one in a happy relationship with a good-looking husband. They want what she has. I agree, but remember, I just feel like I agree on one part, but I still feel like they look down on her. Like, so you get what I'm saying? They don't care that she's in a happy relationship, because with them, their happiness is based on solely materials. You get what I'm saying? She does too much because they can't compete. No matter how many filters, fillers, and handbags they have, they fail to understand Black women will always have it. Exactly. Oh, absolutely. And they want to bring her down, because let's talk about this for a minute. How dare they say that Guerdy is too much when Alexia is too much, Julia is too much. There is nobody more annoying than Julia. So how dare you say that Guerdy is too much and too extra? Alexia is always crying and whining, looking like the Miami version of Teresa Giudice on Jersey. Girl, that woman is always twisted up, crying about something, and the constant crying about Todd and this divorce that nobody cares about. But yet you want to talk about Guerdy is too much? What are we talking about? Yes, they want Guerdy to keep her head down and shut up. They do. You know what it is? They want Guerdy to be happy that she's there. That's what it is. They feel like, okay, you're the only Black full-time housewife. Shut up, sit down, and be happy that you're here. Yeah, yes, most of the women on this cast do way too much, especially Alexia. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Sorry, guys. My throat just got dry all of a sudden. Excuse me. They're insecure about the newbies outshining them. They are. Yes, that you should be lucky to be here. Exactly. Kiki's annoying AF too. I peeped it. Her peeing in the water on vacation in public, running and having her boobs out every chance. She's unbearable. She's unbearable. Yeah. Even when Kiki and Guerdy did that, they did the stretching at the flexology class, and then you have Kiki talking about, oh, she was like patting her vagina as the guy was stretching her out. Kiki's always doing a lot. Always. They want Guerdy to dim her light to make their mediocrity look better. They do. Hey, Robert, thank you for the super chat. Hey, Brooke, I'll be front and center for your reviews. I will not watch until Larsa is fired. You will never be whacked for being late. You warned us on your April 30th live, 3 minutes, 30 seconds. I'm screaming. Thank you. Hey, Robert, thank you for the super chat. I want Kiki to be full-time because we're birthday twins, LOL, June 17th. I don't know about that, Robert. Kiki really pissed me off in the last few minutes of this episode, I didn't feel like she had Guerdy's back. I think that Kiki is way too pressed and desperate to be full-time and to be with the cool girls, in my opinion. Hey, Robert, thank you for the super chat. Extremely side note, but I'm seated for your OC reviews. We will whack Emily and her insecurities and fake beefs. Oh, yes, I'm seated for Orange County. I can't wait for Orange County. Now, Orange County might be a bit late, but, I'm going to get those OC recaps out. I got y'all. Hey, DM Rocks, thank you for the super chat. Hey, I was disappointed in Kiki's reaction to the situation. Kudos to Dr. Nicole, Adrian, and Lisa defending Guerdy on Instagram. Yes. And also, I feel like that's really messed up for Andy not to address what went down on this last episode on Watch What Happens Live. That was so messed up to me. And Andy, that's why you get so much flack from the viewers, especially your Black viewers, because of the way that you guys handle situations like this when your Black talent is being like low-key spat at. That's why y'all get so much smoke. That's why people say things about the network, because y'all don't do a great job of protecting your Black talent. The fact that Julia has not been reprimanded for what she did, that should have been an automatic termination or suspension. The way you got rid of Kenya for what she did to Britt Edie, this season of this season of Atlanta, this should have been, okay, Julia, timeout for you. You're suspended for the next 5 or 6 episodes, docking your pay, period. I think that it's ridiculous. Plus, for Julia to double down on her Instagram post too, absolutely the F not. Are you serious? She doubled down on it? You know what's funny to me? The same one doubling down right now, she's going to be the same one crying at this reunion for sympathy and saying, I was going through so much, and because of the adoption of my boys, it was a hard time, and Martina's health. We're going to get 11 excuses for why she did what she did, and I don't have any sympathy. And, and it's no shame, but I never cared about Julia's storyline, and I don't care about her storyline now. I really don't care. And I said this last night, respectfully, I'm not trying to tell somebody to walk away from a bag, but you have to know your limits, and you have to know when an environment just is not good and conducive for your mental health. Guerdy just looked so broken and so defeated in that moment when that water was splashed in her face like that and nobody came to her aid. In my humble opinion, I feel like Guerdy should leave the show. I really do. I just don't think that it's worth the money to have the whole group not like you, not have your back. People are in your face, talking to you crazy, calling you a liar, pouring drinks on you, assaulting you. It's just not worth it. And if I were Guerdy, I would say, you know what? I don't need this. Guerdy does not need the money. She's making bank as a top event planner. Why put yourself through this? Yes, exactly. She just got over cancer. That stress will kill her. Exactly. And that's my thing. That's why I also want to get you, Julia, because your wife is going through cancer. So for you to pour a drink on a woman who's your castmate who's going through cancer, she just came out of her treatments. Guerdy said, I think in episode 1, it's been 20 rounds of radiation, 6 rounds of chemo, 3, several surgeries. Miss Mamas has gone through a lot. And the fact that you would do that, knowing that your wife is also going through a health scare of her own, you should know better. And had Guerdy turned around, and please, y'all, YouTube is real, they get real weird about cursing. But if Guerdy had turned around and whooped your you-know-what, I wouldn't have felt any way about it. Because you don't do that. You don't do that. On Watch What Happens Live, Kiki questioned Guerdy's business. How? How could she question it? And that's what I'm saying. Kiki is giving sellout. It's giving desperado. Because how are you questioning Guerdy's business? Guerdy is a successful event planner. She's been in the game for what, 2 decades? She's been featured in Vogue as one of the world's best top event planners. We've seen Guerdy's events. She's done weddings, banquets. I mean, Miss Mamas does a great job. Feel how you want to feel about her, but she knows how to plan an event. What if somebody said, Kiki, what do you do? When's the last gig that you booked as a model? I'll wait. What if somebody said that about Kiki? Like, the audacity. Guerdy will be fine if she has to leave Bravo. Kiki, on the other hand, I'm not so sure, sis. It seems like Bravo has been your lifeline for the last few years. The audacity, the absolute audacity. I just was so upset. I was just, child. It was so irritating. Okay, exactly. What does Kiki do? Haven't seen her down any runways recently. Exactly. And I'm so upset because I used to like Kiki a lot. I really went up for her, but the way she acted, in my opinion, I didn't like it. The fact that she didn't just say, Julia, you were dead wrong for what you did. You don't do that. You should have had Guerdy's back. And she's sitting up there low key acting like Guerdy's the villain who threw the drink first. Yeah, Guerdy should have thrown a drink back. I agree. But you know what though? It just really sucks though, because had she done that, they would have acted like she had done it, that she had started the whole entire thing. They would act like she was the villain. Yes, Guerdy. Yep, Guerdy got her lick back though. She clocked Julia on her facelift. She sure did. Julia cares about herself. That's a lavender relationship. She does be kissing men. Ciao. You said you were just wondering what Kiki is doing. Julia don't care. She's holding out for that inheritance. Ciao. I was just about to ask, what does Kiki do? Baby, listen, I just, Guerdy did not deserve that. Guerdy deserved more. Guerdy deserved everybody to have her back. And if I'm being really honest, last season, when Guerdy announced that she had cancer, it wasn't lost on me how nobody really rallied for her. They all just kind of like, okay, I mean, that sucks. I'm sorry to hear that. And they all went about their business. I feel like the way they all gathered around for Lisa with the whole Lenny stuff, in the season 4, when it came time for Guerdy and what she went through last season, nobody really stood by her. Guerdy has been getting crumbs since she stepped foot on this show. I'm serious. Yes, nobody cared. Nobody cared. They want to turn Guerdy into the angry Black woman. They do. And then what broke my heart was in the next episode, when you saw the trailer for it, you have Guerdy crying, saying that it feels like I'm back in junior high. That you like. Let's just stop for a minute, right? Imagine you're already in a group where the folks don't like you, they don't care about you. And now you get violated, you get a drink thrown in your face, and nobody cares about you. Do you know how dehumanizing that must feel? Like, if you go back and just look at Guerdy's face in that moment, I promise you, Guerdy did not look like she wanted to fight anybody. Guerdy looked like she wanted to break down and cry, but she was trying her best to hold it together. That is so dehumanizing. That is just so evil. Like, that's one of the lowest things that you could do to somebody, is just throw a drink in their face like that. Yes, it was very heartbreaking. Very, very. I just, like, my heart really broke in two, and they all just sat there. And what really got me was you have Marysol's husband in the back. He's at the bar. He's laughing at the whole thing. He's like, oh, they're going to kick us out. What's going on? I'm like, sir, you don't want to come over and say, oh my gosh, are you okay? Like, what's going on here? Like, it's just like, it really shows you how, and I don't want, listen, no, I am going to make it about race, because everything is about race. And let's be honest, Guerdy's one of the only Black people on the cast. So no, we are going to talk about it. It just really goes to show you how it's like Black women's tears, people just really brush past it. They just don't care. Because had that been Alexia, who had been doused with water, had Larsa gotten that water splashed in her face, the whole crowd would have come over and checked on them like, oh my gosh, are you okay? But the fact that she gets water thrown in her face and everybody's standing there looking at her, like, excuse me? I was so irritated. I really expected more from Marysol's husband, because the fact that I feel like any man worth his salt would have said, "Oh my gosh, are you okay? Is everything all right?" But the fact that he's standing there at the bar talking about, "Oh yeah, what are they doing over there? We're gonna get kicked out of this establishment." Like, oh, like, he's laughing, ordering another drink. I just feel like, who does that? Who does that? Yes, it was very racist. It was. It was. Yep, these women are animals for treating her that way. I agree. That irritated me because he's just standing there with his drink, smiling and everything. Now, I want to just talk about this. I want to mention this point. Do you guys remember in episode 2 when Alexia had that dinner for her friend Johnny, who moved to Madrid, and she invited everybody except for Guerdy? And did you guys catch when Alexia said, "I didn't want to invite Guerdy because I don't want, I want the attention to be all on my friend Johnny." But then we cut to the dinner, and the entire dinner is about Alexia and this divorce and how she still loves Todd. I said, it's the sheer gall, the sheer unmitigated gall for you to say that you didn't invite Guerdy because you don't want her to make it all about herself. But yeah, you made your friend's dinner about yourself and this dumb divorce that nobody cares about. I was, y'all, yeah, she's very self-absorbed. Alexia is the most self-absorbed person in that group. I think she even beats out Lisa and Larsa, and that takes some doing. She is so self-centered. She made the entire dinner about herself. I was disgusted. I said, shouldn't you be talking about your friend who moved? Why are we talking about you? Nobody cares about this. Alexia always has to have the attention on her at all times. You see, they always have smoke for the successful housewife whose husband really loves them. Oh yeah, I noticed that. I absolutely do notice that, because they're upset because the gag is they know that if anything changes in their marriages, that they'll be living pillar to post. And Guerdy and other women who are already established will still be okay whether they have the show, don't have the show, whether they're married or divorced, they'll still be fine. Yes, crying and carrying on. Even Johnny was consoling her. I was so annoyed by that. Yes, I hate that we have to pretend that it's not about race. Exactly. No, I'm not pretending. I'm not pretending. I'm not going to sit up here and pretend. We're going to call a spade a spade. It is about race, and I don't care how anybody feels about it. But you're absolutely correct. I do hate that we have to pretend like we got to pussyfoot around like that's not what it is. This was clearly about race. Bravo is aiming to go back to all white. Notice how they do the melanated shows. It's a real shame. It is just a true shame. It really is. And the fact that, NBC does a poor job of not really wanting to address the real issue. Hey, Andreas DeWolf, thank you for the super chat. Even if I didn't like a person, I would have stepped in. Thank you. And my friend threw a drink. I would be so embarrassed. Exactly. I'd be very embarrassed if my friend did that. I'd be like, have you lost your mind? I'd probably throw a drink in their face. Like, you must have lost it because, we don't do this. We don't do this. There's just no decency. There is no decency in this group. Yes, Alexia made that dinner all about her. She didn't want Guerdy there. That's the plain and the short of it. Alexia does not see it for Guerdy, so she's going to make any excuse she has about why Guerdy wasn't there. Alexia is old and can't find a sugar daddy to afford and upkeep her lifestyle. Todd doesn't want her and nobody does, child. Yes, everything in life boils down to race. I don't give an ish who says otherwise. Clock it. It's the truth. It's the truth. It's like, how dare you act like Black folks have to keep quiet and, smile and act like, we don't see what's really going on. I don't like that. It's not lost on me how certain shows get more promotion and certain shows are literally groomed to fail. And you know what show I'm thinking about right now that, Bravo just left to the wayside, honey. They didn't even give them a chance. Okay. But yes, you're right. Everything does boil down to race. Hey, Solo Polynesian, thank you for the super chat. Ever since they blackballed Nene, everyone's afraid to call out the racism. Very true. Very true. But Nene did go about it in the wrong way, though. Had Nene just kept it to, I feel like there's been unfair treatment between the black talent and the white talent, that would have been fine. But when Nene added that extra sauce, calling Andy all those names and trying to out him for what he does in his personal time, that's where she lost it, in my humble opinion. Hey, Miss Dubar 007, thank you for the super chat. The privilege of it all. They didn't even flinch. No, no. But hey, birds of a feather. Marysol's husband is in alignment with it. Oh, exactly. Yeah, they didn't even flinch. They didn't care. Larsa was sitting up there sipping her drink. Alexia looked annoyed that Guerdy was upset that she got the drink thrown on her. They all, in my opinion, they all sat there at that table like they were mad that Guerdy was upset for being violated. It like they were all looking at Guerdy like, you got a drink thrown on you, smile, be happy that you're here. They all looked at her like they could give a damn about what happened to her. There was no care, there was no concern whatsoever. It's just crazy. Episode 2 at that tacky 8 party, their body language towards Guerdy when she was approaching, damn shame. Oh, exactly. Oh, in episode 1, when Lisa had that party for Jody, did y'all peep how when Guerdy came up to Martina and Julia to congratulate them on their twins, and Martina was so dry, she was not even like interacting with Guerdy. And then at one point when Guerdy says, Martina, Julia's mad at me for some reason. Do you know why? I don't know what I did to her. And Martina was dismissing her. And she was like, well, I don't know. Talk to Julia about that. All I know is that you weren't on the Zoom call. And then she says, I'm getting a drink. Bye. I said, girl, who the F are you talking to? I would have warned Martina out for that. Martina was talking to Guerdy like Guerdy was SHIT on the bottom of her shoe. Did y'all peep how Martina spoke to Guerdy at Jody's birthday party in episode 1? I was so disgusted. Y'all, I was so triggered by that. The way Martina spoke to Guerdy in that moment, and the way she was looking at her, she was looking at Guerdy with so much disgust. Like, why are you here? I was so irritated. Yes, Martina was giving her get away from me, black girl. Yes, she was. Yes, she was. That was the exact vibe I got. Martina was looking at her like, ill, like, get away from me. Don't touch me. Don't look at me. Why are you even here? That was the exact energy she gave. A mess. Yes, Martina has always spoke down on black women in the tennis industry. Yes, she has. Go, y'all, Google what Martina has said about Serena and Venus Williams. She said some years ago when they were teenagers, she said something about, the media is always pitying them because they're black. She has said a lot of nasty things about them. And then she even criticized how Serena celebrated after winning one of the Wimbledons. It's like, girl, no, not girl. She's a grown ass woman, almost 70 years old. I'm not calling her a girl. She's grown. She's AARP age. So I'm not calling her no girl. So But listen, Martina's been saying a lot of nasty things about the Williams sisters for decades. That's now lost on me. And also, how dare you police how we celebrate? If Serena Williams wants to go out and shut the whole mall down, and she wants to have a parade for a week because she won Wimbledon, she can do that. That's her prerogative. Who are you to say, the way she celebrated her win was so arrogant or so obnoxious? Excuse me? Do you say that about the white tennis players who win when they win Wimbledon? Like, she has said some really nasty things. I can't stand her. I can't stand her or Julia. And I know I say that. I know I've said before that there isn't any housewife that I just don't like, because I don't know them. It's just a show. But even though I don't know Julia or Martina, I can say I don't like them. I don't. I don't. And I could stand 10 toes down in that. I don't like them. I don't. And this solidified it for me in this last episode. But yeah, Martina has said some really nasty things about the Williams sisters. Child. Yes, she is Michael Darby old. Exactly. Too grown to be acting like this. Exactly. I wish Guerdy was the one who called into Watch What Happens Live, not Larsa. But they might have, you know what though? But they vet who calls, right? They vet who calls into the studio, into the clubhouse. So Guerdy might have been trying to call, and they might have said, you know what, Guerdy, we'll just, come back. You can come to the clubhouse and we'll talk about it, but we're not going to have you call. We're not going to have you on the line. They could have sabotaged Guerdy, because I'm sure that Guerdy would have called into the clubhouse to speak her piece. Somebody better check Julia next week. I don't think they do. Sadly, I don't think they do. It's okay, Brooke. We'll say we dislike them for you. LOL. Thank you. They've shown they don't like us either, so it is what it is. Exactly. Did Martina speak out against the player that was so ungracious following her loss to Coco? No, she's probably on her side. If she's complaining about how Serena Williams celebrated her win after winning Wimbledon years ago, I'm sure she's probably saying nasty things about Coco winning a few weeks ago. Oh, so she's the one who was bitching about Serena crip walking. She probably was. She's had a lot to say about Serena Williams over the last decade. Guerdy has been through enough. She has. I feel you, Brooke. I try not to say I don't like a housewife, but a lot of housewives have reached that point for me. Yes, yes. I always try to say it's a show, right? And, it's not that deep. I don't know any of these folks. I'm not thinking about these folks outside of, the recaps. But in this very instant, I really do think that I can say, no, I don't like Julia and I don't like Martina. Even though Martina's not a housewife, I don't like either one of them. And I'm standing in that. The fact that Julia did what she did in last night's episode. Now, I know that some of y'all don't watch Miami. If you were triggered during season 7 and season 5 of Potomac, when the whole assault happened against Candace, and then when Mia assaulted Wendy in season 7, I would not suggest that you watch last night's episode of Miami, because it was in that same vein. Especially, it was parallel to Dr. Wendy though in Miami, because the way they all laughed at Wendy when that happened to her, that still bothers me. And the fact that Mia never gave a real apology. Martina is ugly inside and out. I'm sitting this season out is triggering. It is triggering. And I don't think I'm gonna watch it. I mean, and quiet as it's kept, loud as it is, shout out to Funky Dineva for that one. But I don't know if I'm that invested in the other ladies and their storylines for me to keep watching. And I can't review a show that I just don't care about. I don't care about Larsa versus Lisa. I don't care about Lisa and Jody. I'm not interested in Alexia and Todd. They're still together. They're divorced, but they're still sleeping together. I don't care. And now you have Julia sitting up there pointing her finger at Guerdy and then throwing the drink at her. I think I'm done. I think this might be the only Miami rant recap video that I give y'all for this season. I think I'm done. I think that all my energy is going to go into OC. I love OC down. Miami, they're good for the fashions and the luxury lifestyle. But besides that, I'm not that invested in them as a group. If I'm being completely honest with you, Miami has always felt like a chore to recap. Like, I'm just not like, you can always tell when I'm in love with a certain franchise, because it doesn't matter if, it doesn't matter what you say in the comments. It don't like, I like Orange County is one of those franchises where I don't care if one person watches, 10,000 folks watch, 100 people watch, I'm still going to get up there and do a recap because I just love Orange County that much, right? Potomac, Atlanta, Beverly Hills, like what, but like Miami, Miami has never given me that same like that the other franchises give me. And I think that that's kind of Bravo's fault, because they don't promote the show like they should. And I'm just not really interested in these dynamics. And I don't like this undercurrent of let's exclude the only Black full-time housewife on the show. Yes, Bravo wants this show to be canceled anyway, so let's vote with our remotes. This was unacceptable to air. Yeah, I agree. And I said, Julia, you want to stand 10 toes down and throwing a drink in Guerdy's face, but baby, there might not be a Real Housewives of Miami next year. there might not be a season 8 because y'all see the ratings? Do y'all see the ratings for this season? Nobody's watching. And if we stop reviewing the show, then it's gonna really be a wrap. Because I'll tell you right now, I don't think I'm gonna continue with Miami. And especially with Orange County coming back in 2 weeks, me and Orange County are locked in. Orange County will always have a viewer in me. But yeah. And then I want to mention one more point. Did you guys notice how at one point when Guerdy was telling the group what happened between her and Julia, and as she's telling the story, and Julia interrupts her and says, "Oh my gosh, she's psychotic. She's psychotic. She's so scary. Isn't she scary? Isn't she scary? She's so scary." I said, do y'all see how she is sitting up here antagonizing this Black woman like this? Guerdy is speaking in a calm, measured tone, and you're going to call her scary? Y'all see what I'm talking about? And this is why I get mad when I have, non-Black subscribers who want to fight me down in the comments, trying to fight me about lived experiences and saying that it's not all about race, and trying to gaslight me like I don't know what racism looks like. If I'm talking, Guerdy's talking in a very calm tone, and you have Julia screaming like a nut saying this woman is so scary. But yet Julia got in Guerdy's face multiple times and then threw a drink at her, but yet Guerdy's scary. But then y'all want to fight me, talk about it's not racism. I'm just, I want to make everything about race because I'm Black. Are you insane? And that's why it can be really tough to watch when these things happen, because a lot of the Bravo fan base who are not, listen, the Bravo fan base is like mostly white. Let's call a spade a spade. And it's very aggravating when a lot of the white fan base tries to gaslight Black folks like we're crazy for saying what we're saying, what's really going on. It's very aggravating. It's very aggravating. Yes, they be gaslighting that. Yeah, they know they really do. It's always about race. Everything is about race. It is. Julia is boring and annoying. Isn't she though? Isn't she though? She is, and the most extra out of everybody. I get annoyed when they say that about Black women because we've seen white women be scary, cough, cough, Erica Jane. Exactly. Yeah, Erica can tell people, Erica Jane can call folks, see you next Tuesday, and talk in that low voice like she's in the mob or something, and telling people, what did she say to Sutton when they were at Kathy Hilton's house that one time, and she threatened Sutton and doing all this, but that's fine. But let a Black woman say that, and now she's aggressive, she's scary, she's this, she's that. How does that work? And it was so aggravating at one point when Guerdy got up the first time before Julia threw the drink in her face. When Guerdy got up the first time to just like walk away, and she was not trying to hear Julia gaslight her. When Julia jumped out of her seat and followed Guerdy and then got in her face and then told Guerdy to get out of her face, I said, you got in her face. You're putting your fingers in her face. You're spitting on her, but you're telling her to get out of your face. Guerdy, get off the show. Guerdy, I'm serious. For your mental well-being, get off the show because these women are playing in your face. Hey, Davina Spearman, thank you for the super chat. Brooke, did you peep Julia's scared face when Guerdy spilled the tea about Julia leaving her wife to get a facelift in NYC? Julia is double whack. Yeah, I saw that. And I could tell that Julia wanted to throw another drink in Guerdy's face when Guerdy spilled that tea. And I said, Guerdy, whack her again. I was so thrilled that Guerdy let it be known. Like, you want to play this game, sis? Well, I got you. You want to talk badly about me, but meanwhile, back at the ranch, you're over there getting a facelift while your wife is going through chemo. Clock that. I was here for Guerdy letting it all play out. Because I'm telling you right now, you lay a hand on me, I'm letting the entire clip out. Like, what? Every secret you told, I'm letting it out. And I was happy that Guerdy did that. And I wish that Guerdy would have exposed more. Did you see the way Guerdy was looking around waiting for somebody to help her? I was pissed no one helped her. Oh yeah, I was heartbroken for her. Guerdy was in such shock, and they all just were sitting there looking at her. Even Marysol's whack husband, he's laughing at the bar saying, oh, what's going on? What's going on? Sir, you see what's going on. Brooke, I totally agree with you on how these disgusting women turning on Guerdy. She's far too good for the show. I saw the sadness in her, not madness. Yeah, she was sad. Go back and watch it. Guerdy did not look like she wanted to fight. Because I've seen people saying on Twitter that, oh, Guerdy was trying to restrain herself because she wanted to whoop Julia's. No, that was not it. Go back and watch that. Guerdy she was on the brink of tears. At one point, she looked up like, Lord, help me. Like, I don't want to cry in front of these racist women. Help me not have a nervous breakdown in front of them. Because that's what they want. They wanted to break her. Yeah, I saw sadness in her too. I didn't see anger like she wanted to fight. I saw anger and sadness and a broken heart. Like, I cannot believe this happened to me and nobody's come to my defense. How are the perpetrators of racism always the experts on what constitutes as racism? But when asked how to put an end, they put it on Black people and act confused. Thank you. Appalling and exhausting. Exactly. She should have stayed home. I don't know why people who aren't Black and never lived a Black life think they can tell us what's racist. Exactly. I've only watched the reviews about this episode and it's heartbreaking. Yeah, it's very heartbreaking. Listen, all I'm going to say is if you watched season 7 when that stuff went down with Dr. Wendy, when Mia threw that drink at Wendy and then hit her upside her head with that clutch, and they all sat there and laughed at her, and Robin was recording her on her phone while it was happening, and they gaslit Wendy saying, oh, well, you antagonize people. That's why she did that to you. You were antagonizing. That's why, you need to keep your mouth shut if you don't want a drink thrown at you. It was that triggering. It was on the same level as what happened to Wendy. At some point, we need to look at Bravo setting up Black women. Ciao. Someone just told me that the kids that Martina and Julia adopted are Black. Is that true? Does anybody know that for a fact? Is that true, y'all? Because I saw that on Twitter as well. And a few of y'all have said it in the chat. So if anybody knows for sure, let me know here in this chat. They don't get off these shows, though. Look how long it took Garcelle to leave. That's true. I think that a lot of times it becomes an addiction to fame and money. And I think I've told you guys this before in previous recaps and in lives, that a lot of these women are so addicted to this merry-go-round of craziness. Like I gave you guys some tea. Somebody that I know on the inside gave me some tea about a certain lady on Beverly Hills who is their punching bag, who I named earlier in this live. They were telling me that despite her being so loathed and so disliked in the group and how the group treats her so poorly, she still wants to come back on this show, even though she doesn't need the money. She just loves the fame. Allegedly, this is allegedly. Let me put that allegedly in there. But allegedly, that one, despite how poorly she's treated, she doesn't want to give it up because she loves the fame. So if she's feeling like that, and they let me know that she's not the only one. There are several others like her on their franchises where they're not the preferred one. Their castmates give them a hard time every single season. And because they feel the money is so good and it's that fame, it's that attention, it's that notoriety, they're so addicted to that's why they continue to stay on the show, despite being treated like a punching bag on their franchise. It's really sad. It's very sad. Yep. Great live. Heard that about Sutton too. Yes. Yeah. Allegedly. Let's put that allegedly in there. But yes, I've heard a lot about, baby, that addiction to that fame is so strong. You would think that it's A-list fame the way that these women act. They just can't let it go. They really are they need this, like they need air to breathe. But I'm sorry, my self-esteem, let me just say this, right? I would like to believe that my self-esteem and my pride is too high to accept being treated poorly by people just because I want to be famous. I would like to believe that if I were on one of these shows or any show and it was clear that the folks don't like me and they're playing all these mind games, I would like to believe that I'm not going to stick there season after season after season because I want fame. It's crazy. You said Martina has been problematic since the 1970s. Just a mess. Kyle, too. She'll never leave the show on her own. That show is her only bread and butter. And it also makes her, it's a self-esteem booster. It's an ego booster because remember, she's always been in the shadow of her sisters, right? So this show gives her own identity without being Kathy Hilton's sister or Kim Richards' sister. That's another component that we don't talk about with why Kyle is so obsessed with this show, because she finally has something that's her own. Being that thirsty for attention and fame is sick that needs to be addressed in therapy. I agree. I'm screaming. You said allegedly my ass. LOL. Anyone with eyes can see that. I'm screaming. A lot of them also never got that love and attention in their childhood, especially those with daddy issues. I could see that. Yeah. Oh yeah. There are a lot of them. I feel, especially if they weren't the popular ones in school, if they were the nerdy ones, if they were the girls who were kicked around in school, they were considered, bottom of the totem pole socially, or maybe looks wise or whatever. This show has now, it's filling their cup of what they didn't get in their formative years, because you can tell the housewives who are not cool in school. You can tell the housewives who want to be the cheerleader, they want to be popular, and they weren't that, and they have issues with that. So now they're on this show, and that's filling the void of what they didn't get when they were in middle school and high school. They want the attention. Money is just a bonus. Yes, I agree. Yes, Heather Gay. She's that's a clear example. Yes, yes, yes. A lot of them get on to get out of these horrible marriages and give them a voice. That's very true too. Yes, that's why Anna Marie won't let the mouse go. Very true. But the way women posting with Guerdy more than Julia on social media lately, they know the audience is coming for them. Yes, because Alexia changed her tune, because I think she said in the clubhouse last night that she can't agree with what Julia did. And I said, oh, well, okay, Alexia, that's kind of weak. Better late than never. But the only reason why you're saying that now is because you see that everybody is on Julia's behind for what she did. Child. Oh, child. Listen, wait. Why one of you, child, y'all naming that, y'all going down the rabbit hole of, child. Listen, you ain't wrong in the you ain't, I see your comment. You ain't wrong about your theory about her being addicted to the attention. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. You are. I see you. I see you. You're not wrong. Yes, I just read the comment. They're not wrong. They are not wrong with the y'all ain't, child. Y'all listen. So listen, because think about it. Off camera, right? I don't want to say in real life, because it's still like real life, but it's just on camera, right? And the situations are exaggerated. But in like real life, off camera, I would like to believe that if you have a solid self-esteem, the minute you peep that a friend group does not like you, I would like to believe that you would say, shout out to everybody, I had fun. Like, I'm not going to stick out. I'm not going to stick over here and be used and abused and run for anybody's validation or, chase anybody's validation or acceptance of me, right? But for some reason, it feels like on these shows, these women get in this really weird cycle of craving who they feel is the top girl's attention. Like it's really troubling to watch, you know? I don't know. You said to be honest, all of them are. Yes and no. I feel like there are. Okay, no. You know what? I'll say no because you know who's a good example? Lisa Barlow on SLC. Lisa loves the attention, but be clear if there ever came a time where the group turned on her, which I don't see ever happening because they are obsessed with her. They all want to be her. But let's just say for whatever reason, let's say season 10, they all decide to band together and turn on her, and it goes on for like several seasons. I could see Lisa saying, I'm not going to take this, I'm out. Like, I just, in my opinion, I feel like there are certain housewives who I feel would not accept that. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I could be wrong, but I do feel like there are a few housewives who aren't like that. Yes, Lisa is on the show for her businesses. Yes, Candy. Yes, yes. Thank you. Yes, Candy. Candy is a great example. She was like, you know what? I'm done. I'm totally done. I agree, Brooke. I went through this in high school with my friends, and I have no desire to do that as an adult, especially not on national TV. Yeah, that's mm-mm. And then on national TV, you have producers in your ear. They're lying on you, and they're trying to force you guys to fight and all that stuff. It's too much. It's too much. Who wants to do that season after season? That's tiring. You have a whole group against you. You have the whole group saying, okay, we're not going to film scenes with her. They're messing with your money. Nobody has your back. The reunions are a bloodbath. They're all attacking you. Like that's taxing. That's emotionally and mentally taxing. Why would you put yourself through that season after season after season? That's why I don't understand how Guerdy was able to stay there after all that. I was surprised too because I thought I would have been out of there. It would have been um I'm trying. Let me just watch my mouth. YouTube gets real weird about profanity on lives. It would have been some slow singing and some flower bringing for Julia. Julia would have been under that table. I would have turned that entire wedding reception out. It would have been either that happens or I'm leaving immediately. I was shocked that Guerdy was able to really just hold on and just like try to laugh and joke because I really felt for her in that moment. Yes, LVP is another one. Yes. Julia seems like a racist. That's my opinion. She's out of line for extending up and pointing at Guerdy and throwing water on her. Exactly. Child, I swear I will throw water at her. I would have too. Yes, Meredith wouldn't take it either. I agree with that. Yeah, there are certain housewives I feel like they know they're that girl. So if things were to change on the show, they'd be like, you know what? I'm done. My money's good. It was cute. I had a nice time, but like, I'm good. I'll see y'all later. Like, I don't need this. Yes, she threw a drink on Guerdy in last night's episode. Yeah, it was very triggering. Very triggering. Yes, that's why they hated Dr. Nicole for not kissing up to them. Yes, that's why she would not kiss the ring. They couldn't take it. They could not. They could not take it. Same with Mary. Yes, you said she would have had 2 eye patches and more. You said you would have cried and been extra for ratings. Listen, baby, I would have fallen out, called the police, and I would have had Julia locked up. I would have had her locked up, honey. Oh gosh. Monique even went back. Crazy work. Child. Child. Mm. You said I would have shifted her entire wig. Well, let me go back to this. Yes, honey, she came back for that little check. I'm gonna always say that every time. Kenya was threatened with firearms. Bravo dropped the ball, and she still wants to return. Shaking my head. Listen, child, the girls can't get enough of that Bravo fame. Were they arguing about the Zoom call? Well, it was a mix of that, and it was mostly about the a cruise. Julia had invited Guerdy on a cruise, and Julia claimed that Guerdy was being self-centered on the cruise. So she's mad about that. She doesn't have any grounds to be mad at Guerdy. That's the long and the short of it. Guerdy did nothing wrong to her. Julia's doing this for a storyline because she wants attention. Watching those white adjacent women not protect Guerdy from that violent attack was not surprising at all. It wasn't surprising. You're right. It was not surprising. It was just, you know what? You're right. It wasn't surprising. And I can't even say that I'm disappointed because I didn't expect anything from them. I wouldn't expect them to have any character and do right, especially by the only Black full-time housewife who's on their cast, who they treat so poorly. So you're right. It's not a surprise. We shouldn't be disappointed because why would we expect that these women would actually do the right thing? You said yes because that's assault. She needs to go to jail on camera. Yeah, you're right. You're right. It is assault. You're right. Listen, I would have fallen out. I would have fainted. Baby, I can give you a good, I'll give you a good, I'll give you an Academy Award performance, honey. I can cry. I would have been sobbing down. I would have turned that reception every which way but loose. Those police would have been called. I would have had production there on board telling me, oh my gosh, guys, take her away. I can't bear to look at her. I don't feel safe around her. I would have had a whole police crew surrounding her. And I think it's also telling that production did not step in because any other time when there's an argument that gets, the hands get involved, production jumps in immediately. And the fact that nobody in production jumped to make sure that Guerdy was okay was also really weird to me. Yes, acted like she threw acid. My eyes, I can't see. Yeah, it would have been a whole performance. It would have been an entire performance. I would have made sure that Julia was in jail for at least a night. Oh, you're right. They didn't do it for Wendy either. You're right. You're right. They did not do that for Wendy. But I feel like they've done that for every other, maybe the White Housewives, they've jumped in and broken them up. But I feel, yeah, you're right. They didn't do that for Wendy. They let Wendy sit there and get assaulted twice. Are they produced by Truly Original too? Oh, I have to check. I have to see who produces Miami. Assaulting a woman recovering from cancer while trying to process your adoption, I would have had a field day. Listen. Oh, I didn't even think about that. I didn't even think about that. Oh, okay. Listen, Julia would have been crying. There would have been ripple effects for what she did to me on that night. Child. Yeah, did they break up Portia and Kenya? I thought they did. I think they did. Did they? Okay, Miami's production is Purveyors of Pop. Okay, so it's not Truly Original. Okay, thank you guys. Child. Tamara threw that napkin at Jen. Yeah, and Jen should have fallen out too. Because listen, it would have been either Tamara would have been under the table or I would have called the police on Tamara. Yes, everybody consoled Portia. I remember that. Let's not forget how they treated Uba. I would have been all damsel in distress. Yes. Wait, okay, I missed some super chats. All right. Let me not, I don't want to miss anything. Y'all, give me Let me read them now. Let me read them. Okay. Hey, James Pasta Third. Thank you for the super chat. Julia is giving season 7 Robin Dixon. She probably saw your video saying she was boring. Oh, but that's not how you spice things up. You don't spice things up by assaulting your castmate, especially your black castmate who had your back since you guys got on this show. You don't do this. Julia is playing her cards all wrong. And they should have fired her after last season, if we're being honest. Thank you for the super chat, though, James. Hey, the perfume preppy. Thank you for the super chat. No matter what black women do, we're the aggressors. Listen, that was on full display when Guerdy was calmly telling her side of what happened. And Julia kept interrupting her saying, she's scary. She's scary. I'm scared of her. She's psychotic. Do you see her? She's psychotic. That was, y'all, I was livid. I felt so bad for Guerdy. Hey, Davina Spearman, thank you for the super chat. Brooke, did you double peep Julia's scared face when yes, I read your super chat about the facelift. Yes. Hey, Monique Johnson, thank you for the super chat. I haven't seen this episode yet, but it's giving that maybe I don't need to. Don't watch it. Unless you want to get yourself upset, don't watch it. Kiki has been a disappointment for quite a while, if we're being honest. I didn't want to say it, but you're right. All Miss Kiki has are a few one-liners in her confessionals, and that's about it. Hey, Monique Johnson, thank you for the super chats. Like, why doesn't Kiki have Guerdy's back? This is frustrating to hear. The black girls don't stick together at all. All skin folk, not kinfolk, though. Child, the way Kiki was acting like Guerdy was the villain here really blew me. I just said, child, what are we doing here? Kiki was a big letdown in this last episode. I was very upset. Hey, DM Rocks, thank you for the super chat. I forgot to mention Larsa said to Marysol that Julia should not have threw the drink. Yeah, Larsa said that, but it was so weak. It wasn't like, Julia, why the F would you do that? You know what I'm saying? Wait, hold on. Larsa said that to Marysol? I thought she said that to Julia's face. She said, Julia, you shouldn't have done that. We don't throw things. But either way, nobody got up to check on Guerdy. They were all just staring at Guerdy like she was the one who was the villain. Hey, James Pasta Third, thank you for the super chat. Julia is backpedaling on social media because she knows it's coming. Her and Martina better pack it up. Well, somebody in the chat earlier said that Julia doubled down on what she did to Guerdy in last night's episode. So I'm going to have to go and see for myself what she said on Instagram. But Julia will be backpedaling at this reunion. I'll bet you money on that Julia will be singing a different tune at that reunion. Hey, Jamil, thank you for the super chat. Guerdy has been featured in Vogue and Harper's Bazaar and was on the cover of People last year. Didn't she tell us she's a star? Didn't she tell us she's a star trying to dim her light, and they are failing miserably? Yes, Guerdy's really that girl in the event planning industry. She was in Vogue's top event planners in the world. That is such an honor. And the fact that they're going to sit up there and do her like that, and then to find out that Kiki said, I guess, what does Guerdy do, or what's her business? Girl, are you serious? Hey, Devonta Franklin, thank you for the super chat. I'm so tired of these black women being assaulted. Same here. They had to keep their composure to not look like the aggressor. I'm convinced that Bravo does not care or protect our black housewives. I'm tired too. I'm really tired too. And I think I'm more tired because a lot of the times the black women being assaulted are of a darker hue. So it feels like there's just like no protection. To say that it's annoying is just an understatement. It's beyond aggravating. And what really pisses me off so much about this is the fact that had Guerdy turned around and swung on Julia, she would have been made to be the villain. That really grates on my last nerve because Julia was 110% wrong. Guerdy did nothing to her. Hey, Dante Jones, thank you for the super chat. There's been a weird precedent set at Bravo where the darker skinned housewives' words are equal to physical violence. Yes. And thus they don't need protection. Yes, yes, yes. Because I'll never understand when people say that certain housewives deserve to be hit because their mouths are reckless. But yet we've seen white housewives, housewives of a lighter hue say whatever they want with no consequence. But let somebody darker than a paper bag say something, now is world, like now it's a whole thing. Like, I just don't get that. I will never understand that logic. And also, I've always said this: if we're going by talk-ish, get hit, then how come certain people have not gotten hit in their mouths? Because I always get the same stupid comments from people saying, oh, well, anytime I defend Candace, people always say, well, her mouth is reckless. So what about your fame's mouth? Is their mouth not reckless? So it's okay when Ashley Darby says something crazy and reckless, when she destroys lives, when she said to Monique that Monique was an alcoholic and insinuated that was why Monique had miscarried. Remember that in season 3? The girls don't like to talk about that, but that was okay when Ashley did that. But let Candace defend herself when she's provoked, mind you, and her mouth is too reckless. And also, isn't the name of the game sparring verbally? That's the name of the game, right? The name of the game is shade. And who can give you the best shade and the best read? So now we move the goalpost because your fave can't keep up verbally. So now, oh yeah, pop her in the mouth. I'm so sick and tired of that. It bothers me to no end. I will keep saying that. It's so aggravating. It's very aggravating. But thank you for the super chat, Dante. I agree with you wholeheartedly. Yes, Tamara's mouth is egregious. Exactly. We can go down the list of what Tamara has done to people. I know. Okay, listen, y'all. My Black folks, I need y'all to tap into OC. I think the OC is one of the best franchises, hands down. I've been watching since season 1. You want to talk about people's mouths being reckless? Tamara Judge's mouth, it is, like you said, egregious. Y'all talk about Candace's mouth, all the Candace haters. Have you seen OC? Have you seen Tamara? Have you, like, it's just mind-boggling to me. It is crazy. It's pure craziness. How certain folks can say what they want, but somebody else says it, and now it's the end of the world. It's weird. Thank you. That's the point of Housewives. Reckless mouths and shade is the name of the game. Exactly. It's just a mess, child. It's really a mess. Add Uba to the list and Lisa Milan. Prime example, Briola and Kenya. Kenya was the villain of the year, and look at Brit now, going out sad. Exactly. Yes, Erica has called Sutton the C word. Don't that deserve a pop in the mouth? Not trying to promote violence. Yes, that's why I get so passionate about this, because it's just frustrating. And people are not being honest. I think that Candace triggers people, and you know why I think that she triggers people, because people are not used to, or they don't like seeing a dark-skinned woman coming from money. That's the real issue. So the reason why, because Candace does not have a rags to riches story, folks want to, people, there's jealousy involved. It's a lot going on with Candace. That's why people don't like her. But the fact that other housewives are able to call folks a C word, talk about folks like a dog, say whatever they want, that's fine. Y'all go up for that. But let Candace say one thing and now it's a problem? Absolutely not. It's just, I'll never understand the logic. Exactly. Erica has called Sutton Strag the C word 11 times. She got in Sutton's face with gritted teeth, pointing her finger in her face like, girl, I will take you outside and pop you upside the head. And everybody went up for it. Erica has threatened people. We've had other housewives threaten folks, and it's been just fine. But let certain folks say one thing, and now they deserve to be assaulted. You know, their mouth is too reckless. Like, it's not adding up to me. The math ain't mathing. Yes, Brandy Glanville used to say reckless things all the time, and it was rewarded. Yeah, the earlier seasons of Beverly Hills when Brandy was on, Brandy's mouth was crazy. When she told Joyce was a one-season housewife, but Joyce was Puerto Rican. And I remember they were on vacation on a cast trip, and Joyce got in the pool and Brandy Glanville says, "Oh, I didn't know you could swim. You're like a black person or something. You can't swim." And they all just swept that under the rug. And it's crazy how folks can say the most heinous things, but let somebody defend themselves, and now they deserve to get popped in their mouth. Brandy should have gotten popped, if we're going by people's logic, a long time ago. We can see plainly that folks don't like when dark-skinned women speak up and defend themselves. Exactly. Okay, every time I bring this point up, the stands want to argue me down and come up with all these excuses. Even on Potomac, Giselle insinuated that Monique's son was an affair baby, but apparently that wasn't enough to whoop her. They still listen. If you go back to my season 5 recaps, I broke it down on how Monique lied to everybody and that Candace was innocent. I'm so tired of talking about that. I'm out of breath talking about that. I've broken it down 20 ways to Sunday about how Candace was completely innocent in that whole situation and Monique was all the way wrong and her anger was misdirected. Everybody, for some reason, glosses over the fact that Giselle was the one who started that whole entire thing in the first place. And Monique was so desperate to be Giselle's friend that she overlooked Giselle being a part of that rumor about the paternity of her child. Let me get off of that. Let me get off of that because I know I'll get some comments in the replay saying, "Brooke, why do you always bring up Candace? You go so hard for her because of X, Y, Z." But yes, you're completely correct. You are completely correct. Yes, Larsa is the worst of them all. She has the worst mouth. Exactly. Larsa goes low. Yes, Brandy slapped Lisa Vanderpump. Exactly. Child. Listen, y'all. All I'm saying is something has to be done. I need for there to be some adequate punishment for what Julia did to Guerdy. The fact that they glossed over it, they didn't even talk about it last night in the clubhouse, that's alarming. And this is why this is why I feel like people are losing people are losing interest in Bravo and the Housewives because of stuff like this. It's too much of the glossing over on really serious issues. This needs to be discussed. We need to see consequences when people do wrong to the Black talent on these shows, period. I don't like the way that we as Black content creators, are made to feel like we can't, talk about what's really going on some of these shows. It's aggravating because, you don't want to deal with pushback from subscribers who don't want to talk about race. But no, we are going to talk about it. It's not right, because had Guerdy thrown that drink on Julia, all hell would break loose. The entire fan base would be calling for Guerdy's for Guerdy's job. They'd be calling for her head. The fan base, her castmates, production would have stepped in. Andy would be saying something. They'd probably fire her or suspend her or dock her pay. But now that we see a Black woman be embarrassed and humiliated and violated and assaulted like that, and everybody just shrugs their shoulders and we're just going to keep going, no. It's just ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. Last night was really hard to watch, and my heart really goes out to Guerdy. I hope that she's able to maneuver well for the rest of the season. I don't know. The group doesn't see it for her. And the fact that, she hasn't filmed that many scenes, with the other women, they're having these group scenes and icing her out. Alexia having that party and not inviting her. It just feels like they want to ice her out. They want this to be Guerdy's last season. It really feels like that. And Guerdy, from me to you, I understand that, it's good money, but is this worth your peace? Is it worth your sanity? Is it worth your mental well-being to be attacked like this by a group who doesn't like you and production doesn't even step in to defend you? Like, is it really worth it? I don't know. I just don't know. Excuse me. Hey, the perfume preppy. Bravo hates affluent, dark-skinned Black women. They don't fit the stereotype. There's something to be said about that. I think that there's something to be said about that. Sorry, guys, my throat's all dry all of a sudden. Hey, Valerie Complex, thank you for the super chat. I side-eye Andy. He almost never addresses racism. It's becoming a pattern. I feel like it's becoming a pattern where incidents like this happen and it's like a 1-minute conversation and then that's it. I think that we need to really get to the root of the issue. Excuse me. Hey, Monique Johnson, thank you for the super chat. A broken clock is right twice a day. Nene was on the right track calling out certain behaviors. Let me hush, though. Yeah, Nene wasn't wrong, but the way she went about doing it and the way she went about calling, the network out, she could have done it in a better way, in my opinion. Let's hope she doesn't show up to the reunion so we can bid her adieu. I think that Julia will show up. Remember, you get a bonus for the reunion. And usually the bonus is like, I've heard the bonus is 6 figures. So to skip out on the reunion, I don't know if Julia's gonna skip out on that money. I think that Julia's gonna come with that BS, fake crying and saying that she's sorry and she had no idea and she's not racist and she couldn't believe the folks are calling her racist. I think that Julia will show up because she wants that check. Do we believe the rumors that Nene will be returning? I mean, the fact that she is back in with NBC, there's a chance. I don't know. I guess until we hear that she has signed on the dotted line, then I'll believe it. But I will say that there is hope. There is a chance because the fact that she is back in with NBC is a big deal. So there is a possibility that she could be coming back on the show. You said Andy will probably spend 5 minutes on it at the reunion. Yeah, I think that 5 minutes is generous. I think that it's going to be 3 minutes of Julia sobbing and making excuses and saying that she was under stress because of the twins and the adoption process and Martina's health scare, and she had no idea what came over her. And then it's going to be Andy saying a few words, and then he's going to ask Guerdy a question, and then that's going to be that. So yeah, like you said, 5 minutes. But then, I will say though, Julia, if there is no season 8 of Miami, just know that it's going to fall directly on you because your ratings are already on life support. And the fact that the few of us who do watch Miami are going to check out after this episode because of what you did. If those numbers hit like 90,000 viewers, you guys are over. And it's going to be all your fault, sis, just so you know. It's going to be all on you, Julia. So just know that you single-handedly tanked your franchise by what you did last night. Because I told you guys in the beginning of this live that I don't see myself recapping or reviewing the rest of this season of Miami. Miami's a cute franchise. They give you money and fashions, but storyline wise, it's just they're not grabbing me. And then with what Julia did, I'm not invested. So my attention will be going to Orange County. Yeah, the ratings are terrible. The ratings right now are Summer House Martha's Vineyard ratings in the 200,000s. So yeah, so if they dip any lower after we all check out, it's going to be like 150,000 folks watching. And they're not keeping a show that's only getting 150,000 people, okay? So Julia, if the show tanks like I think it might, and if the ratings go down the way I think they really might go down because Black folks have said shout out to everybody, I have fun, you can take credit for tanking your own franchise. Yeah, their ratings are horrible. Yeah, damn is right. Guerdy has the best story, period, and that's why they can't take. Yes. Okay, and watch what happens live. Everyone voted against Julia. Thank God. Why are these shows so triggering? I want an escape from my reality, not an amplifier. They should put Summer House Martha's Vineyard on Peacock. Oh, yeah, but will they promote it though? There's no point in bringing a show back if you're not going to promote them. If you're not going to give them proper promotion, then leave them where they're at. Like, that's just my thought. There's no point in getting the people's hopes up and bringing a show back for you to fail them again. Oh my gosh, you're going to make me cry. Thank you so much for lifting my spirits. My dad was just diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. I'm so sorry to hear that. Oh my gosh, I'm a daddy's girl. You gave me my first smile of the day. Oh, well, I'm happy that I could do that for you. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry to hear that. I am lifting you and your father up in prayer. I know what that's like. Okay, I'm wishing that your dad has a full recovery. All right. I'm gonna get off of this though, because you're gonna really get me tearing up on here, but I'm sending you so much love. And I'm happy that I could do that for you. Yeah, you practically had to beg Bravo to promote Miami. And they're still not promoting them, quiet as it's kept. To be fair, Miami didn't get proper promo either before they moved to Bravo. Agreed. There needs to be another network that broadcasts reality shows featuring people of color. I mean, I know that BET Plus has reality shows. Like, they have that show with like Jada Waita and Ari the Don on BET Plus. Like, there are Black reality shows, but they're just not promoted, which is annoying. I feel like the only reality shows that are promoted a lot, like heavily, that are Black are like Love and Hip Hop. Oh yes, I saw that. The show with Riley, with the kids, Riley and Meredith and Seth's son Brooks. I saw that episode when Charlie called Riley scary and he was imitating her like this, and Riley broke down crying. I wanted to jump through that TV and grab that boy by his neck. That man, he's a grown, why am I saying, well, no, that's a grown man acting like that. I wanted to grab him by his neck because the audacity. I felt so bad for Riley. I felt so bad for her. I just said, oh, like, that was painful to watch. Yes, Next Gen NYC. I felt so, my heart broke for Riley when he said that to her. I saw the latest episode where he did apologize to her one-on-one, and he said, I'm not the villain. Like, I'm very sorry for that. I never want you to think that. We'll see how sincere it is going forward. But yeah, he had me completely messed up. And is it bad of me because I wanted Riley to go off on him? Like, when they were on that Sprinter van, I was waiting for Riley to go off on him, because I feel like if people already want to paint this image of you, you might as well say how you feel. Like, I don't know. If I'm really honest, like, in situations like those, I don't really care if somebody says, "Oh, you're being this or that," because I feel like, well, if you think that, if you want your ignorance and your racism, then I'm gonna get how I feel off of my chest. I'm not gonna bite my tongue because of your stupidity. Like, I'm gonna call you a racist to your face. I'm going to, curse you out. So I'm gonna give you what you want. You know what I'm saying? And I was waiting for Riley to just like go off on him when he did that. I was so pissed for her. I really was. I'm actually liking Kim's daughter on the show to my shock. Yes, yes, yeah. Ariana seems like a sweetheart. And then her revealing how she pays Kim's bills, a mess. I think Riley was just betrayed and hurt. No, she should have went off. I would have. Yes, I would have too. He apologized the same day, but later said it wasn't genuine. Well, yes, he did. Yes, I remember that. He said that it wasn't genuine, but then on this last episode that came on this past Tuesday, they showed the flashback of him and Riley met up another day, and he did give her a sincere apology this time. That's what I say about Guerdy. They're going to call her the angry black woman, so be that anyway. Yeah, I mean, in situations that I've, been in like that, I've always spoken my mind. I mean, I make a show. I'll give you what you want. I mean, honey, I can outcry damn near anybody. I can cry. One thing about it, I can cry, honey. Everything is off. Like I will sob down, right? But I'm a sob while cursing you out and calling you a racist on top of that. Oh. Ariana's boyfriend is the son of a billionaire. Yes, they own that the chicken place. They own, what is it, Zaxby's, or what is it? What's it, Bojangles? What's the chicken place that her boyfriend's family owns? Either way, I know that Kim is happy that her daughter has hit the jackpot. The way Ava and Ariana got into it, because Ava doesn't see Ariana as a fashion designer, had me gagging. Yeah, and that was just mean of Ava. That was really mean of Ava. And I said, now, Ava, had Ariana tore you up and said, Ava, that's why you're over here bouncing around from reality show to reality show with your dad to be famous and people still don't know you, Ava would have been upset. Ariana could have easily gagged Ava. I thought that was so rude of Ava to say, "Oh, she doesn't even dress well. Why does she have why is she designer?" That was just so mean. Like, why are you being mean? And I like how that other girl clocked her. She was like, "Why are you trying to tear somebody down to build yourself up? Like, who does that?" Yeah, I didn't like that. Okay, thank you, Zaxby's. Thank you. I was literally saying every other chain except for Zaxby's. Thank you. Gia spoke on it. She graduated Rutgers 2 years ago, and all is well with her. All is well with her. Bravo and her cast. Yeah, Next Gen is entertaining. Ariana said that she's paying Kim's bills. Yes. Yep. Kim should really feel ashamed of herself. She should really feel ashamed of herself. I feel sorry for Kim Zolciak and all the stuff that she talked about, all the things that she said to other people, and now look what happened to her. Now I will say I'm waiting for somebody to ask Ariana if her mom is living in reality with her financial situation. Like I just really wonder, like, what does Kim have to say about the foreclosure and the lack of money? Like, what does she have to say about all this? What reality show was Ava on? She was on, I believe, Growing Up Hip Hop on WeTV a few years ago. Yes, Kim is Delulu. Yeah, Kim has no shame. A mess. Yeah, I feel sorry for her kids. Where is Papa now? Yeah, she was on Growing Up Hip Hop on WeTV. Kim is still gambling. I no longer feel sorry for Sutton because of how she treated Garcelle in the end. Yeah, I don't feel sorry for Sutton. And Sutton is a glutton for punishment. She wants this fame, so she doesn't mind being on the show, being the punching bag. You said Cashmere sold 15 million. That was that skincare line she was peddling. Yes. Oh yeah. Ava was also on Beverly Hills as Diana lip licking Jenkins' son's girlfriend. Yes, yes, yes. Isn't Ava broke now because Damon Dash owes people money? Yeah, Damon Dash he's in deep debt. Yep, Ava was dating. Yep, she was dating Diana Jenkins' son. Yep, who paid those bots to attack Garcelle's son allegedly. Allegedly. I will never forget when Diana Jenkins was out here sending out cease and desist to content creators for talking about her. I said, lady, you better not send anything over here. Oh, gosh. You said Sutton who? Sutton is a 63-year-old pick-me. Yes, Rachel Roy is her mama, so she should have a little coin. Yes. That's Dame Dash's daughter. Yep, that's Dame Dash's daughter. Child, a mess. Oh, gosh. The fact that Kim Zolciak really pissed away all that money on online gambling and at the casinos is sad. Like, I want to understand how does it become that much of an addiction? Like, how do you, like, I want to understand what leads folks to have a gambling addiction. Like, you don't want to use that money for shopping, travel. I understand buying a scratch off here and there, going to the casino every once in a while just for, giggles, but like to really be sitting up there spending your mortgage money, refinancing your house to gamble, like that is just mind-boggling to me. Okay, you said it's get rich quick scheme. It has to be that. Yeah, she lost she lost $250,000 at a casino in one night. Yup. And then when Croy posted up their bank statements and he said we're down to our last $700 because she pissed away the money at the casino. It's just crazy. It's just so sad. I said, my God, but Croy went out and got a job, honey. Croy went on Indeed and USA Jobs today and got a job. And good for him. Good for him, because Kim left with no money. They have no money. You said I lose $200 and I'm done. Addictive behavior. That's true. Like, girl, you have kids and a home. It's an addiction. That's just sad. You said shame on Croy for enabling her addiction. Maybe instead of curling her wigs, doing her makeup, being her valet, he should have put her into rehab. Well, I mean, I guess you can't force somebody to go unless they want to go. If she doesn't think that she has a problem, what could he do? He can't physically force her to go to rehab. Yeah, remember when the news broke, what was it, 2 years ago or 3 years ago? No, 3 years ago, the news broke about the house being in foreclosure and they filed for divorce. And Croy said, yeah, she left. We're down to our last $700. And he showed all their bank statements. And you see that she blew their last $100,000 at the casino. Is he single now? Yeah. Are they officially divorced? Do you know if the divorce is finalized? Child, just a mess. That's where I met. Oh, you met Mama Joyce at a Mississippi casino. That is so funny. Then lied on Croy saying that he passed and was trying to sell his belongings without telling him. Oh my gosh, I don't remember that. When did that happen? She said that he passed away so she could sell his things? What? I know Croy beats himself up every day for not listening to his family. His family was like, this is not the one for you. This woman is going to take you all the way down. And he cut his own family off for her. And look what happened. I know Croy regrets ever meeting her. No, because neither one of them can afford to divorce one another. Kim is also being sued by her former lawyers for not paying. Oh my gosh. Oh, so they're still legally married because they can't afford to. Oh my gosh. This is terrible. That is so sad. Kim has always posted a bunch of clickbait posts of IG. She did that for her own daughters too. My God. You said you think she bets? I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if she's at like the blackjack table or something. They're living in squalor, as my mom likes to say. Goodness gracious. Hey, the perfume preppy. Thank you for the super chat. Julia would have caught hands with no net. Yeah, I would have turned Julia every which way but loose had she done that. I would have turned her every which way but loose. Why do I feel like she groomed that man low key? What? Kim was in her late 30s and he was in his early 20s. He was like what, 25, 26 when they met. I don't know if she groomed him. He was a willing participant. I mean, he was over 25. He was like 26 when they met. So his frontal lobe was already formed, in my opinion. Right? I mean, I feel like at 25 and or 26 and 35, I wouldn't look at that as grooming, in my opinion. Now, if it was like he was 19 and she was 40, then absolutely. But I feel 26, 27, she was 37, 38. I wouldn't say groomed. Yeah, 25 is grown. 25 is groomed. Yeah, manipulated, yes, but groomed, exactly. Yeah, he knew what it was. He was enjoying himself. Yeah, he was enjoying himself there. So yeah, it wasn't grooming, in my opinion. Yeah, he was a willing participant. He cut off everybody for Kim Zolciak. And now look at that. He broke. He had to go get a 9-to-5. She pissed through all his NFL money. Remember how she said that Croy was worth, I think, $100 million, and they were like, "Girl, he is second string for the Atlanta Falcons. They cut him from the team. He, and his money was gone." And she was trying to say, "Well, we are so rich. We are so rich. Our money is long." And what happened? Everything fell apart. She was up there selling her used goods on Poshmark for full price. I was like, "Girl, are you insane? Nobody is paying full price for a used 5-year-old Chanel purse that may or may not even be real." Yeah, yep, that he met her through Sheree. Because remember when they met season 3, when Sheree was doing that Dancing with the Stars in Atlanta, and he was one of the contestants, and they met him and they met each other there. She liked his butt. She thought he had a big butt. She liked his butt, and then they met from there, and that's when they got together. Yep. Yep. She thought she was bigger than the show. Kim wiped her butt with Croy's little money. She did. Yeah, she was selling those used wigs too. You said he was 24. She was allegedly 35. The jury's still out on her being 35. Exactly. Child. Oh, gosh. She thinks folks are going to overpay because she's Kim and a white woman. Oh, gosh. Having that single show for 1 billion years and still being broke, unfortunate to say the least. Well, I mean, are you surprised? Kim was over there pretending and living way above her means and pissing away everything that came in. I would really like to know who Big Papa is. She probably make some money from a book, but he probably made her sign an NDA. No, his name is like Lee something. Yeah, you can Google who he is. He's still married to his wife and everything. His name is Lee something. And I think he was on MTV Cribs too. Like him when they brought Cribs back, his family was on Cribs. So yeah, he's not a mystery man. Yes, and Big Papa, he's Middle Eastern, if I believe. Yeah, he never divorced. Him and his wife are still together. They were on their house was on MTV Cribs, I remember. Yep. And Big Papa's wife's name is Kim. I'm screaming. He didn't ever have to worry about calling his wife the wrong name. Probably the only reason why he got with Kim in the first place. Oh gosh. Yes, thank you. Yes, y'all know the T. Lee Najjar is his name. Yes. He still gets a pension. It just couldn't sustain Kim. Yeah, but the NFL pensions are like what? $100,000 a year, right? And she's using that she was using his pension at the casino. Yeah, child, the same name. He is still married to his wife. That ring did not mean a thing and didn't. Child, he probably had all his sugar babies named Kim. He had Kim 1, Kim 2, Kim 3. Everybody was Kim, honey. He probably was calling his other sugar babies Kim, even if they weren't named Kim. Yup. And then she was screaming and hollering though when Bravo did cancel the show. She was tweeting badly about Andy when the show got canceled. I didn't forget that. She also burned a bridge too with Andy because she was trying to air him out when they canceled Tardy for the Party. Yes, Kim. Yep, Kim. He said, "Ain't no mishaps over here." Exactly. Kim is using her daughters now to take care of her. She is. And so wait, Ariana in the first episode low-key admitted that Kim stole all her money from her because in the first episode of Next Gen NYC, Ariana says that she became like an influencer due to the show and she made all this money on her endorsements and collabs. She said she made about a few $1 million, but then it was gone. And then when I was like, wait, so did she low-key implied that Kim stole the money from her? And then she said, I have no idea how much I really made because the money was gone when I checked my account. And then when she said, I still love my mom, I said, Ariana, this is low-key financial abuse. If Kim were my mother, we would never speak again. We would never speak again. Why isn't Brent on Next Gen NYC? Well, I think that it's because he's based in Atlanta. And then I remember he had the health scare. He had that health scare last year. So I know he's working on his health. Yep, Ariana said she took her money. Yeah, okay, so I'm not crazy. Yes, Kim took it. Do you know how evil is that? You take your child's money, you just steal it. Just evil. It's very sad. It's not right at all. I'm glad Ariana is telling everything that happened. But when I tell you though, Ariana is just so sweet because there's no way that I could even talk to her. I couldn't even look at Kim. That is just truly evil. And the fact that Kim stole her own daughter's money, she stole millions from Ariana, and she's still broke. There's a problem. Kim has a real problem. She's living pillar to post now. How do you steal from your daughter and you're still broke? Well, you know what? No, I answered my own question because you never win. Thieves never win. So that's why she's in this boat. That's a different kind of evil to steal from your own child. especially when you claim that you were a multimillionaire, had all this money. That is evil. I felt really bad for Ariana. I knew Kim was a crook when she wouldn't pay Kandi. Oh, yes, absolutely. Oh, no, listen, I had Kim's card pulled when she said she got on this show. That was low character to do that. When she would not pay Kandi, that was so evil. I always had Kim's number, but I thought more of Kim, that she wouldn't do that to her own child. Because a lot of times you'll have people who are, they're thieves, but they still won't steal from their own family. The fact that she stole from her own daughter is sick. I don't know where Brielle's at. I have no idea where she's at or what she's doing. The last I heard, Brielle was with a baseball player. And I don't know. And then she was caught in some scandal with some married man or something, if I believe correctly. But yeah, I don't know what Brielle's doing. Oh, wow. He's still not well. I thought on Nene's show, she said that he was on the mend. He was doing better. I know he has a daughter now, but he's still in the hospital now due to complications from the heart transplant. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Oh, my prayers go out to Brent. I'm so sorry to hear that. I hope he has a turnaround in his health. I really feel bad to hear that. Thank you for the update. Ariana's 23. That's too young to be taking care of her mom. Exactly. No, ma'am, it was very high key. Exactly. Very high key. Yes, she said Kim and Kroy stole her money, that Kim calls her all the time asking for money. Does Kim not feel ashamed? Kim doesn't feel ashamed, and shame on Kroy stealing his stepdaughter's money like that. But I guess Kroy was using it to take care of their family since they were, Kim's pissed it all away. But you don't do that. That is horrible. Kim probably guilt tripping Ariana into taking care of her. That's awful. Yes, Ariana's dating. You guys told me this. His family owns Zaxby's. Yeah, Kim is trash. Kim still takes her money. That is so sad. Shame and audacity do not reside in the same place. No type of mother tries to promote her daughter giving BJs for luxuries. Oh, I forgot about that. When she said that about getting the John Legend tickets. I really don't like Charlie. He used a racial slur on one of his Instagram captions. Oh, what did he say? Don't tell me he said it. Don't tell me he said that. Right? Bills had to be paid. Wait, you said Kim is a crackhead. Child. Kim has a gambling addiction. She absolutely does. Kim feels entitled to it. That is so sad. I really feel bad. Ariana's boyfriend is also tired of Kim always asking for money. Yeah, I got that impression too, because I remember when her and her boyfriend went out on that date and Kim FaceTimed them, and it was clear that she wanted money. And she was like, oh yeah, I'm drinking this, $300 bottle of wine. And I said, girl, you don't have any money. Like, who are you trying to flex for? They treated Nicole like trash. They were definitely jealous of Nicole. Oh, absolutely they were. Kim is giving dope fiend. Yeah, it's definitely giving that there's something seriously wrong. Oh, okay. He used that racial slur. That's terrible. Her boyfriend told her straight up to stop taking care of Kim. And I hope Ariana listens. Kim needs to go and get a job. Kim needs to be happy that Ariana is still talking to her, because the fact that you stole from your daughter, that is evil. And I hope that Ariana does listen, because it should be the other way around. Your mom should be taking care of you. Your mom should be giving you some money if you need it. And the fact that your mom did have it once upon a time, and then after she blew through her money, she went and stole your money, it would be no contact. Yeah, Kim would never speak to me again. Exactly. Oh, I did the Miami review. So the Miami review was the first hour and 20 minutes. And it wasn't a review. You see, it says rant in the title. Miami is not giving like that to be doing scene by scene. I'm very transparent with y'all. I will let you know this is not a recap. Don't expect scene by scene. Don't expect it to be a traditional recap. It's not that. Ariana is a sweetheart, and the manipulative parents pick on those kids because they're people pleasers. I feel so bad. Yeah, Ariana really does seem very sweet. Yup. I said rant, exactly. Exactly. I think I ranted for a good hour and a half. I don't understand why people want Kim back on Atlanta. I don't think anybody wants Kim back on Atlanta. I haven't heard of them wanting her back. Have you? I'm sure Kim is saying she's the reason her daughter can get money and a billionaire son. Kim needs to get some help. And at the end of the day, however she feels is null and void because you stole from your child. You stole a few million from your child. You should feel ashamed of yourself. So so Kim has no right to feel entitled to Ariana's money after what she did. But yeah, you're right though. I'm sure that Kim is saying that because that's how delusional and twisted she is. Have you seen the RHOA reunion looks? I have. My top 3. I thought Angela looked great, Portia, and this was Shamia's best look. This was Shamia's best look. Everybody else looked a mess. Kelly's dress swallowed her up. I said, Kelly, what is this? You did all this crying about your stylist. Like, girl, what is this? Phaedra's look. I said, Phaedra, don't you ever speak about anybody's fashion again. Phaedra, that's one of the worst reunion looks I have ever seen in my entire life. Terrible. But yeah, top 3, Angela, Portia, Shamia. And I thought that Cynthia looked good. But yeah, they were top 3 for me. Portia, Angela, and Shamia looked the best. Phaedra, I said, Phaedra, girl, what is this? I said, Phaedra, what is this? Yes, Shamia for the first time, she looked good. Yeah. No, this was hands down Shamia's best look. Actually, if they bring Kim back, they need to give her they need to go after her for her comments. That last reunion she was on talking about racism was all, when she said racism wasn't real before social media and Andy and Sheree watched. I mean, I don't want to hear anything out of Kim's mouth. You know, like I don't need them to press her about what she said 6 or 7 years ago. I don't want Kim back on. And Kim's going to double down on it. Kim is ignorant. So do you think that she's going to say, "Oh, I'm sorry for saying that"? She's not. She's not. So, you know, she can stay off our screens, in my opinion. Oh, I thought that Drew looked good. Not my favorite look, but yeah, top 3, Portia, Angela, Shamia. They cleared. And everybody else was an honorable mention. Or it was just, it was cute. And then it was a hell no. Kelly and Phaedra were a hell no. I saw someone on Instagram say Phaedra looked like Queen of the Damned Fool. Y'all are so funny. Child. Yeah, Angela and Portia looked the best. I loved it. They looked great. They cleared. And then Shamia definitely has to be up there too. I think that Shamia's, I liked her gown a lot. She looked really good. You said Phaedra was naked with a sheet on. Did you hear what Phaedra did to Angela that will be exposed on Sunday's episode? Yeah, Angela already exposed it in her interview with Carlos King a few days ago. Angela already revealed that Phaedra was behind that stunt. She paid Marcus for Marcus to relay that information about Charles cheating on her. You said Phaedra looked like a sci-fi villain. Angela looked great. It seemed like something I could get off Princess Polly or House of CB. Yeah, yeah. It definitely gave House of CB, but I mean, it looked good though. I think sometimes simplicity is the best. Phaedra never learned a thing. We all know Phaedra paid that man. Can we admit that Phaedra is a flop? Oh, I've been saying that. I knew it. She had that same look on her face when everything was going down in Hawaii. Yeah, Angela always goes simple. I didn't think Kelly's dress was flattering at all. I don't think it would have looked better shorter. I think she needed a whole different cut, a new color, in the words of MC Deborah. But yeah, no, Kelly's dress was a miss. Mm-mm. Phaedra paid that man in somebody's parking lot. Oh gosh. Kelly's old stylist is somewhere laughing at her horrible look. They said Kelly looked like Little Bo Peep. The men involved in the Angela scandal are denying it on Twitter. And now they're saying they don't even know Phaedra and that we will be gagged on Sunday. Okay. That's all I'm going to say. All I'm going to say is okay. I think that when people flop with stupidity like that, now they want to say that, oh, it's not true and you'll see more on Sunday. I don't know. I think that had we all been gagged by that cheap stunt, that they'd be singing a different tune. But because we're all like, that was thirsty and desperate, now they want to say, oh no, it's not true and you'll see more on, the actual episode. I don't know. I believe Angela. I don't think that Angela has any reason to lie. And, even before Angela did the interview, I said on Twitter, like, this smelled like Phaedra Parks. This whole entire stunt felt like Phaedra. Kenya would have looked gorgeous in this color theme. Oh yeah, Kenya would have ate down. Oh yeah, Kenya would have looked amazing with this theme. Absolutely. Oh, Marcus has a podcast and is just trying to drive up subscribers. Why am I not surprised? Yeah, exactly. I get tired of hearing that too. They always want to tell us, stay tuned for this, but what else is there to see? Exactly. There's nothing more to see. And then what's going to happen. It's always the same thing of, oh, well, they cut that part out. You guys didn't see X, Y, and Z. It's always the same thing about that. Every time there's backlash, now it's, oh, they cut this out and you guys didn't get to see this and that. It's like, no, we saw it. You looked a fool. What you did was wrong, and we're not on board with it. So I just, yeah. That stunt did not move me in the least bit. I thought it was cheap. It was tacky. It was just mean. Why would you do that? The same look she had when she went after Candy. I agree. Was it just me, or did the lighting make some of the dresses like Shamia's and Angela's dresses look green, but on their Instagrams they look yellow? Yeah, Shamia's dress, when Bravo posted it on their page, the dress did look green, and then on her page it looks yellow. Yes, the lighting was different. The trailer for the reunion is allegedly coming out tomorrow. Hopefully it delivers. I mean, I don't have such high hopes for it. We'll see. I don't know how explosive it can be when Brit skipped and Kenya wasn't invited. Like those were the two main players of this season. And then, we have Drew sitting at the end. I don't know why she was everybody else's storyline. So I mean, I'm not holding my breath for an explosive reunion. And I don't know why it's 3 parts either. You said Kelly used all of Joanne's fabric that was left. Oh gosh. Imagine if Brooke showed up to a housewife event. Oh no, you can't imagine it because that will never happen. That will never happen in a million years. I would never pull a cheap stunt like that. I'm not desperate to be on television. I've been on television before. Um, I'm not desperate for a check. I'm not thirsty. So yeah, you don't have to worry about me doing something like that ever, ever. That would never happen. To be fair, RHOP's reunion was lit despite Karen skipping and Mia dipping out. Yeah, that's true. But they had some meat there. They still had some meat on the bone with Stacey and her nonsense with TJ. So that's why. I think I don't know if there's enough meat on this bone with Britt and Kenya gone. But you're right. That is a fair point. Yeah, come on. I would never do something like that. It's absolutely not. Absolutely not. He needed to stay in the shadows because his shady past was quickly brought to the light. Now everyone knows who and what he is. Shameful. Yeah, that's another thing. I think that you got to be real careful trying to do dirt like that. You better make sure that everything is squeaky clean. You better make sure that you don't have any charges. You better make sure that everything is intact because the people will find it immediately, quickly. I'm sorry, Marcus. Like I told you in my recap, you didn't think this through. This was a bad move on your part. I don't know why you did this. Was the check that good? Because you told me on Twitter that NBC Universal paid you, but was the check that good for you to do that? I mean, to do that at somebody's event, that's just not right. I think Britt, even though I'm not a fan of her, would have ate at this reunion. Yeah, I think so. I think that Britt would have given a really good look. Oh, absolutely. I do think that. I do think that she would have given us a good look. Yeah, he's just super thirsty. Yeah, it's not a good way to be. You just no. I didn't like that. I was not moved by it. I didn't think that any part of that was funny. To go up to Angela and say that Charles was cheating on her, that was really messed up. Yeah, I agreed. If anything, it's Phaedra who paid him. I know that NBC is not exactly. NBC doesn't pay the husbands. Oh, I doubt they pay him. The only husbands who do get paid by NBC are the Jersey husbands because they're damn near a part of the cast too. Yeah, I don't believe. Yeah, I believe that Phaedra paid him. She probably Zelled him or Cash Apped him, but I don't believe that he was paid. He got an NBC Universal check. I don't. I don't believe that. To be honest, what does Kelly have to contribute to this reunion now that Britt didn't show up? And that was her biggest storyline of the season. Oh, that's true. That's a good point. I guess Kelly will have to she'll talk about her divorce and how that was dealing with that. This better be a 2-part minimum reunion. There's no reason for it to be 3 parts. No, I heard that it was 3 parts. I agree with you, but I heard that it was 3 parts, unfortunately. She probably had Willie Watkins cut him a check. Oh my gosh. I'm cracking. Y'all have me screaming, not Willie Watkins, honey. Um, guys, I'm gonna end the live right here, though. I really hope you guys enjoyed this conversation about Miami because I was livid. My heart still goes out to Guerdy. Yeah, let me know in the comments. Will you still be watching Miami, or is everybody just done? Like, let me know. I want to hear all your thoughts in the comments. I want to see all your thoughts in the comments. But I'm gonna end the live here. I'll go live. Maybe I'll go live on Sunday. We could talk more about just general topics. But I'm gonna end it right here, guys. I hope y'all enjoy this rant conversation. I had a great time as always. And thank you for the super chats. Thank you all for just the engagement and just the great conversation. Thank you to all the moderators in the chat. Y'all make the chat nice and smooth. You guys get the trolls out. I appreciate y'all. Love y'all down. But I'm gonna end the live right here. Thank you all for tuning in. I hope you guys have fun, and I will see you all later. Bye, guys.